Now, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has congratulated President Bola Tinubu and the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, on their victory at the Supreme Court on Thursday. The minister called the pair a divine intervention to Nigeria's economic woes. He said this in Lagos while inspecting highways and bridges across the state and after taking a swipe at the opposition parties for criticizing the courts. He asked the opposition and the Southeast region to support President Bola Tinubu's administration.
It's very unethical and unprofessional for opposition parties to praise the judiciary when they sack APC elected officials, and when the PDP people are sacked, they criticize the judiciary. This is unlike, leadership of any country. We have to be patriotic to our country. We have to put our country first, and this is very important. And let me announce that the job that God sent President Asiwaju and Vice President Shettima to do is to put the country first, and this is just what they're doing. In the past few months, they assumed office. So I also congratulate myself as an APC who left the ship of PDP when it was going to sink. And I think it was a divine revelation for me and all the APC members in Ebonyi State, for the Southeast people to give support to Mr. President.
And to discuss this further, I'm being joined by the APC Deputy Chairman, Canada Chapter, Dr. Abiola Oshodi. Good to have you on the news at this time. So first off, let's have your reactions to the victory of President Bola Tinubu at the Supreme Court.
Thanks for having me in the studio again. The victory of President Bola Tinubu at the Supreme Court obviously was quite exciting to the majority of us, though we had been expecting it. And we thank God, to the justices of the Supreme Court for giving, for being bold and sticking to the rule of law in delivering, in coming to the conclusions and delivering the judgment, that obviously reflects the truth about the election and kind of put to rest all the lies, all the conjectures, all the fake news, that the opposition were perpetrating on social media, misinforming a lot of their supporters.
All right.
Great judgment.
Right. And with that being said, let's quickly move on to the opposition now, which seems dissatisfied with the court's ruling. How do you see this? And do you think this would in any way affect any future strategies between the opposition and the ruling party?
I think the ball is in the court of the oppositions. You don't win elections on emotions. You don't win elections, by lying to your base on social media. Like I said in one of my interviews, I said there's strength in oppositions. So 2027 looks very far, but in terms of preparing very actively as an opposition candidate, as oppositions, is not that far really. If they start to work very hard, they need to close ranks, and to give the ruling party a very, very big challenge come 2027 if they can close ranks. And before APC dislodged the PDP in 2015, APC had to close ranks, formed an alliance with about 3 or 4 political parties to become a formidable political party that they are today. So if the opposition truly wants power and challenge the APC government, I think they need to go back, strategize, think very well, and come together as a united force. Even though I'm APC, I'm giving them this nugget, because I want democracy to thrive. I stand, first of all, for democracy, and I stand for a democratic Nigeria.
All right, he seems to have a bit of challenge there. Well, if I could just quickly ask this question, if you can hear me, Dr. Abiola, let's quickly move on away from this election victory now, which has finally put to rest the victory of President Bola Tinubu. But, you know, there is an
The
ever-growing challenge with regards to the economy. And we understand since the president took over in May, the Naira has dipped to historic levels, fuel prices have skyrocketed, and, of course, food prices as well. So given these economic challenges now, what do you think the government needs to do to address these concerns?
Yeah, I think I sympathize with an average Nigerian who is daily facing a lot of these challenges due to the economic reform that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration had no choice than to implement in terms of refusing to further subsidize the exchange rate and allowing the Naira to find its true value in the market, and also removing a fuel subsidy. Obviously, this comes with attendant challenges, you know, which is inflation problems, you know, moving from point A to point B, and a lot of other challenges that our people are facing. My understanding is that the government is coming up with a lot of palliative measures to cushion the effects. Some of them have been rolled out, one of which is, you know, the wage review. I think the government needs to move away from trying to increase the minimum wage. We need to start to work, you know, towards giving Nigerians a living wage. So I think the Asiwaju administration has demonstrated commitment in that regard. I think the last time they said that they had increased the minimum wage initially by 35,000 naira, and I think more increases will be coming and give Nigerian workers a truly living wage, you know, going forward. Amongst other measures that will be coming on board, the student loan scheme is also coming on board from next year, and a lot of measures that, you know, that are going to be implemented to, you know, take a lot of our people out of multidimensional poverty level.
Mm. And with that being said, you're confident that this will be a thing of the past, that Nigerians will definitely be satisfied with the present administration?
I'm very, very satisfied. I'm very, very confident. What Asiwaju is doing, or the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is doing, is not really different from what happened in the past. You know, a lot of our millennia might not remember when similar measure was introduced in Nigeria. I think around that 1985 period to 1990, when the military administration of Ibrahim Babangida implemented the structural adjustment program. And, you know, what happened eventually is that Nigeria had so much resources, you know, after the program implementation started, with which they embarked on a lot of developmental agenda during that period. So, you know, this is a democratic setting, quite different from what happened there. But again, it's in similar context. There will be a lot of money available to this administration, you know, going forward, and we need to make sure that the resources are channeled into productive ventures, you know, that will benefit the ordinary and average Nigerian going forward. I'm very, very optimistic that things will work.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave it, Dr. Abiola Oshodi, all the way from Canada. Thank you very much for your insights on the news at 7 this evening.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, you're still on to